Hey everybody, it's Dr. Dana Martin, your host for the show right now, the Sith Dominion podcast. Welcome aboard. All Sith all the time, kinda. Mostly dark side, but we're gonna go across our panel that we have most of the time in the last couple of months. Cam, Debbie, and Zane, how are you all doing this evening? Yes? All right. Never
here.
had a lot. Okay. I was kind of expecting a little excitement, but Debbie, we missed you last week. How are you doing?
Yeah, but you had Kat on.
I did. Yes, we did have Kat, and Kat was fantastic. I actually was going to try to ask her to come back on for this. We'd have 5 people, which would be awesome. I didn't. Maybe we'll bring her back next week. It'd be cool to have her back, and maybe DJ Elliott next week. I'll break that news if I hadn't already. I've told you guys. DJ Elliott, go Google that cat. Went to college with him. We're gonna talk with him hopefully next week, if not the week after. He'll be coming back from South Africa's con that he's at right now. Cam, no, Debbie. So you were out last week, and yes, we had Kat. But how were you? How are you? What's going on in your world?
Just moving along, avoiding people.
Did you finish the Bad Batch? Didn't the last ones just release?
Not till tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? Okay.
Tomorrow morning's the finale.
We'll talk about that here in a minute because Dana's finally almost caught up. Cam, how was your week, man?
I was chilling, man. Played a lot of golf. That was pretty much all there was to it.
Okay, dude. Like, we've talked about this on the side. Like, you're supposed to say, hey, dude, I really dig being on the show with you. You want to go golfing? Like, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting.
I'm game. I'm game. I'm telling you, man,
least...
I'm terrible, but I'm
dude, I am. All those balls doing all that whacking. I mean, that's essentially me. Like, I just whacking balls all day. That's it, just chasing them and drinking beer, of course. Zane, how was your week, man? You're not at your apartment, are you?
Yeah, no. I don't know where I am.
What's going on, man?
I just kind of drove to a random house.
He's at Expo, bro.
Yeah, what you got? Some guitars back there? You got some? Those aren't yours. Oh, I know those guitars.
They are definitely not mine.
I know whose guitars those are. I've played one of those guitars and played alongside those guitars a couple times. Yeah, that would be John's guitars, I'm guessing. Yeah, sweet. John, Zane's stepdad, really cool dude, musician as well. We've played a few times, just hanging out. It's a good dude. Man, what a week. There's been a lot happen, at least on my side of the house. I've been extremely busy, work and whatnot, and playing with my Darth Vader car. If you know about it, if you don't know about it, it's a cool car, and it's my car, and I love it. It's like one of my absolute favorites. Oh, nice. Thanks, Cam. But after I got done, I went over to my uncle's. He's got a lift, put it up in the lift, right? Put it in the exhaust. I was freaking stoked and drove it home, and I felt this little rattle, and he came out yesterday and messed with it a bit, and still it's there a little bit. So it sounds fantastic, but I've got a little rattle, and it kind of inspired me to do a little series. So if you go through TikTok, you'll see under the Sith Dominion podcast, I've got part 2 released today, and I think part 3 will release in a day or two, and then part 4 the rest of the week. So there's 4 parts to this little series, and it's just talking about comparing yourself to a vehicle and how you got to listen to your car, explain things to the mechanic so that they can help you get fixed. And the same way goes for you. But you need to seek out a professional sometimes when you don't understand maybe what's going on inside with the noises. And I'm not talking about the noises like the voices. That's a whole nother thing. And then
a lot of those, man.
Oh yeah, and I got a total thing on that too. Of course, understand that the voices that you hear in your head are not you. The voices are telling you the subconscious, which actually doesn't have a voice. What? Okay, yeah, another time. We're going to talk about Star Wars now. So, I want to start off with dark side stuff. So give me a sec. I'm going to pop this up, and we are going to watch a trailer. Y'all see this trailer?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Are you going to make it, Debbie? Because you have an assassin behind you. Oh, my God. Oh my goodness.
He's really being an asshole.
What? Unbelievable.
I'm gonna have to spread some oil or something on top so when she jumps, she just slides right on by.
I think Chewy's just being a cat, just being a normal cat.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Well, she is a tortie and she does have an attitude.
What is that? A tortie.
A tortie?
Yeah.
Type of cat.
Yeah, it's a type of cat.
Oh, dude.
It's like a calico.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I appreciate the sidebar there, except for I still take too long to share my screen. Y'all can keep talking. No, here we go. I got this. Is it?
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, and by the way, last week we did get hit with a little something. It was minor.
Boo.
But for those of you playing along at home, yeah, the copyright.
Well, it was only for certain countries and regions, so
I'm actually a little depressed about it. I would have rather been like full on, like getting the Grand Poobah treatment. Like, you better stop that garbage.
What did you guys watch? I forget.
It was "Fix You" by Coldplay.
Fix You by Coldplay, but it was to Star Wars first 6 movies.
Was it the Cinemax one?
Oh yeah, that's
6.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Really not my song
first-
choice. Really not my song choice I would have chosen for that, but
Yeah, I think if we're gonna get like dinged for copyright, I would totally had that been something else. 100%.
Some Metallica on there or something, I don't know.
Ooh, Metallica. Would go
Moving
some
along.
Star Wars.
So, Tales of the Empire. There's a new trailer out. So we're gonna watch. It's only 30 seconds, so we'll watch this real quick. And here we go.
Where is the Jedi hiding?
There is no Jedi. Prove yourselves worthy, and you may join us. Attack! Why do you seek Imperial favor?
Revenge.
Let's go.
Tales of the Empire, available May 4th on Disney Plus.
Dude.
Yo, can you show? Hold on, I'm gonna just look it up. Hold up.
What?
I don't know how I feel about that Vader design.
Oh,
What? Reminded me of Rebels design.
Which
Yeah,
reminds me of
everybody's really
Ralph
liking
McQuarrie.
it.
Go ahead. Sorry, Debbie.
I was gonna say everybody's really liking it on the interwebs.
I don't know. Might have just looked weird to me.
Might
Hold
have
on.
gave me a little
Getting a little too
McQuarrie
controversial
feel to it.
here.
That's what I'm here
Oh, I
for.
haven't had enough wine, so no, we're good.
Grievous looks great.
Yeah.
Ron looked young.
Yes, Thrawn does look young. I don't know about you guys, but I think. Oh, hold on. What's up, Charles? I don't know about you guys, but I think Disney's running this into the ground. Has not been happy with it. Yeah, Charles, right on, man.
They've written
Thanks,
great
baby.
books.
Yeah, there's a show or two where we kind of go off a little bit on that. We try to be as neutral and as objective as possible, but sometimes when the wine flows a little bit on Dana, he can't help himself and blame Cam because he goads me into it. So
I don't know what you mean neutral. Cam is definitely not neutral.
no, I feel like we're a balance.
Hey.
We are the
Hey.
force balanced as one. Like all 4 of us together make a balance in the force.
I am a paying consumer. I have the right to complain.
This is true. I
Also,
will withhold my money.
also disregard my earlier comment. Sorry, just looked weird to me on the stream. I hadn't seen the trailer.
That was cool though, yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yes, that's it, brother. That's it. So I wanted to just touch on a couple of things in this. So once again, we have Morgan, and we talked a lot about her in the other show where we really focused on what was happening there in that episode, specifically with Ahsoka, where she's making some concessions with the Empire, and Thrawn's happy with having her. Go ahead.
Were you talking about what's her name?
Do you
Morgan?
mean Barris or Morgan? Or
Barris
you
or
said
Morgan?
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Ahsoka's
hold
not
on.
in this.
Sorry. Tiny, sorry, Thrawn. I swear this is my first glass. I swear.
I don't think so.
Now I've totally lost where I was going. So we'll just whatever. No, I'm excited about the show. I think there's a lot of potential there. We've got of course Thrawn, who's really made his name for himself in this newer generation. We knew of him from reading the books. Newer generation started reading the books, and now here we have him again, and Morgan making these deals. That's what I was going back to with Ahsoka, is that now we're getting a little more backstory in how all of that potentially transpired. Whew, man, it took me a while to get back there. But that's where I was going with that. No? Nobody? Okay.
I think I really honestly think you're giving them too much credit for trying to make it all make sense.
Yeah.
I feel like they're really backfilling. I think that's how I'm feeling, man. Like
I'm
they're
just scared it's gonna go against what the books have already done.
Is this
Thrawn
where we
specifically.
come back to where Cam says something like, if they do X, then the rule of two doesn't really exist and is no longer what was it that you were saying about that? If in the next movie with Rey, right? No.
No, it's the acolyte. Like
The
all those,
Acolyte, that's right.
like
ahead.
if this is a person with that who they assume is a Sith, right? And and they think she's a Sith or whatever. All the people that see her have to die, or they have to provide explanation as to why Jedi 75, 80 years later haven't Sith have been dead for millennia, right?
Right.
Or they're not a Sith or whatever. I don't know.
Your point, Yoda, living 900 years, would not have even seen them. And if he sees them, that's an issue.
Yeah, and Kiadi Mundi, I think, was the one that said it. Didn't he say
Yeah.
it in Phantom Menace too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's a jerk.
Oh my goodness. How do you
But-
really?
He has two hearts. They have to cancel
like
each other
him.
out.
What is it
I don't like
about?
him.
What is it about him you don't like, Deb?
Just an ass.
Just
Why?
Just like
generally.
Mace. Mace is an ass.
Yeah.
Amen.
What?
I love you, Sam Jackson,
I love Samuel Jackson. I love him to death. I just don't care for Mace. He's an asshole.
Man, I ran across one of those what ifs with Mace that he survived and became, started plotting his revenge. And dude,
Did y'all
I
see?
beg for that. I mean, if you can bring Maul back, who was chopped in half, you can do
Didn't-
something with that.
Isn't Star Wars Theory doing something like that for his
There was
Vader
a theory
episode?
that Snoke was Mace Windu.
What?
Ah,
Yeah.
No way. There was theory.
was
I had not heard that. Not discounting
Really?
it. I just had not heard that.
Well, there was I don't know if it was an article or TikTok or YouTube. I don't know where I seen it at, but there was an interview with Samuel Jackson. And he says he's ready to return as Mace because Mace is still alive.
No, he wants that
What?
paycheck, is what he wants. He wants that
I
paycheck.
don't care. I'd like to see it. I would.
At this point, I mean, they've already messed up Star Wars. Keep it going.
Oh, come on.
Let's see how much they can do.
Are we going to go down that path again? No, not tonight.
Let's keep it rolling.
No, they did not screw it up.
Positivity, baby.
I would say they're in the process of, but there's still hope. And as a matter of fact, a new hope. And our new hope is Sam Whitwer or whatever.
Sam
Whitwer.
Bro,
He is-
they,
Get that
bro,
man his
There's
own
no
show.
ages.
they gave that man the silent treatment. They told him to stop talking bad about The Last Jedi. So
Yeah, y'all know what I'm about to play.
oh.
Do it.
Oh, yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Well,
And something.
maybe.
Or
Oh,
not.
Unmute that. All right, here we
Maybe.
go. We sharing screen, y'all. So I ran across this today, and nobody's saying anything in our little foursome chat in Messenger until I put this, and then everyone wants to have some sort of say. You're like, yep.
Chat, does he know? Chat, does he
Yeah.
know?
Goat.
He's the GOAT. All right. So, Debbie, give this man an introduction for those who may be watching or listening and they don't know who this is.
Oh my God, this is Sam Witwer. He is the GOAT of Star Wars. He has had so many voiceover acting parts in Star Wars. He was Star Killer in
Force Unleashed.
Yeah, the Force Unleashed games and books and whatnot. And oh God, he disappeared again. Why does he always disappear? Why?
It's Lucasfilm.
But yeah, Sam Witwer. He knows Star Wars like it. I don't know if you guys ever watched oh shit, what was the name of that show? It was a YouTube show, I believe. And it was a trivia show. And he was on there quite a bit. And he knows his shit.
Mm-hmm.
Frontwards, backwards, upside down. Sam Witwer.
There's a clip somewhere where he pretty much corrects Dave Filoni on something. And
Filoni wanted Padme to meet Shmi.
Yes. And he said she already met.
Yeah,
right?
she already met him.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, Filoni.
No, he wanted Anakin talking to Shmi's grave, saying, "I have a wife that I want you to meet," or something like that, I believe.
JB, you're killing me.
No,
I love it. So yeah, he also voices Darth Maul in Rebels, and dude, that scene, amazing. So this is him.
He's done Palpatine. He's done a lot of background characters that sometimes he doesn't get credit for, but yeah, he's all over Star Wars.
And the new Battlestar Galactica from late 2000s. Oh my God, he was amazing in that. So,
really?
You didn't? Have you not seen the new BSG?
And no, because I can't find the whole series anywhere.
Okay, well, I have it on Blu-ray, so just come over, snag it. It's a time zone, but you know,
I'm gonna fly down to Texas or wherever the hell you are.
I actually they had it on sale at a Hastings going out of business. The Hastings here, Cam, that was in that HEB on Villa Maria parking lot over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were going out of business and they had this like box set, brand new, $30. I was like, I love this. Yes, thank you. So I got to show Charla freaking Battlestar Galactica, the new one with our girl Katie Sackhoff. Oh my God. Katie Sackhoff as Starbuck. Edward James Olmos as I can't remember his name now. Commander Adama. It was really good. Really good. But that's not what this show is about. So sorry. I digress. He was in the show and he was amazing. Here we go. But I can't push play there, Ken. How about here?
But then I was like, but let's make it canon. Well, I mumbled little pieces of the Sith code. Yeah. Because I knew that if it made it into the episode, then it was canon. Oh my so goodness. Like, I made the Sith code canon, yes! There was a line in Mortis where one of the characters on the dark side, well, the son actually says, the chains of these, he refers to chains in the Mortis thing. Yes. And in the Sith code, there's this whole thing, you know, through victory, my chains are broken. If I'm getting that right, I might remember.
You're getting it right,
something about my chains are broken. Yes. I mumbled pieces of that code. Amazing. Dave and I are not convinced there is a Sith code. Right. Bullshit. But then I was like, but let's make it canon. Well, I mumbled little pieces of the Sith code.
There you go. He did play the son. He did play the son as well.
Yes, that's right. That's right. He was the son. So there you have it. You know, the point and purpose of this show is to look at things from the dark side, Sith Dominion. We've done a whole series on the Sith code. And then to hear that, you know, maybe not, they're still kind of debating whether it's canon. I did not know that, one. And two, thank you, Sam, for making sure it became canon, at least some of it. So any thoughts on that? I mean, besides the fact that you guys blew up in the chat. I mean, what do you guys think about what he was saying? That, you know, trying to put in little bits of the Sith code for him was important. I mean, why? Do you feel like you would feel the same way, that it's important to have that bit?
I feel like adding some layer to the Sith and dating back to ancient history. I feel like adding that layer to what kind of makes a Sith, and when you compare it to the Jedi Code, kind of how they are in fact opposites.
Yeah, when I look through the two codes side by side, I mean, there's certainly a difference in ideology, but I think more so than that, like you're saying, it adds layers to. It's not just Dark Lord of the Sith, and he's gonna go force choke people and whatever. No, there's so much more to that. Clearly, the amount of angst and torment that Vader was in, he aligns with the Sith code, right? Anyhow, sorry, I'll digress that to you. I just, man, I came across that, and I thought, man, that dude's onto something, man. I love that guy. And when he does the Kenobi, like that's, man. So Rebels, I don't know what season it is. Last season, maybe somewhere in
season 3, I think.
It's season 3.
It wasn't last season.
No, it wasn't.
The last season. Oh, that's when Kanan died. Oh my god, that's when Kanan died.
I think it's
season 3.
Twilight.
Season 3.
Is it Twin Sons? Is the episode?
Yes, I know. Yes, that is the name of the episode.
I think it's season 2.
I think it's season 2.
Let's find out.
While Cam is looking that up. Oh, Cam can't talk about Legos right now because he's looking that up.
No, I can multitask. What?
I got this.
Are you talking about my poll?
Yeah. Oh, did you make a poll?
It's season 3.
How do you do? It's season 3, episode 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Twilight of the Apprentice, when he appears, is in season 2. But yeah, the whole thing is season 3. Yeah. Anyways, here's the question. So, as we all know, or you may not know, it's a big week for Star Wars fans, especially this Saturday. But Lego, is of course Lego Star Wars, keeping the fandom alive. They're coming out with some good sets. As a Lego insider myself, I got a $30 off for the Ghost Lego set.
Nice.
Ghost.
However, it's still $120. I'm thinking, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting the speeder set. Right, Dana, scroll down a little bit. So I got at least spend $160 because I got to get the Troop Federation.
Oh, there it is, man.
Yeah, so I mean, $129. Is it worth?
Yeah.
My wife might be a little mad, but it's all good. But scroll down.
Hold up. This Emperor's Throne Room, like that. That one's not brand new though, right?
It's new.
It's new.
Yeah, it came out like 6 months ago, maybe.
Oh, that's right. I actually spoke on this last show for those of you that follow along at home, and I'm going to reiterate that my birthday is this month. I was joking just now. I know. I need someone to buy this for my birthday. Thank you. Okay, moving up.
Hey guys, birthday's coming up.
No, keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling. Oh God, where are they at?
Is that the medal? Is that like a medal? Oh,
I think so. Yeah. Keep scrolling. So you see the pod race?
Yeah.
I'm getting that, and I'm getting the Droideka for sure.
That's awesome.
But
I just did this. I did the Falcon last weekend. That Droideka's freaking amazing. Oh my God.
I'm convinced. I'll get it.
Wait, is that?
You heard it here first.
Anakin and what's his face? Sebulba?
Sebulba.
Yeah. Look at this. Start a wish list. All right, everybody. Let me give you my wish list. Don't send me anything for my birthday. If you want to send something like Wounded Warriors or something, I don't need Legos.
Guys, his birthday, May, so you got till then.
End of May.
End of May.
Oh, let's see. Do we have a show on that day? Sometimes that might be cool.
No, it's on a Wednesday.
Okay, thank goodness.
What a good son. He knows.
I know.
Also, everyone go see Phantom Menace in theaters this weekend as well. May 3rd through maybe the 7th, maybe the 6th.
Support the old shows, please.
My son and I are going Saturday.
Support the good stuff, man. Support the good stuff.
I'm gonna have to see if it's by me.
My goodness.
Oh, it's got to be by you, bro. You got a Cinemark over there?
In like Buda, probably.
Not where you're at right now. Oh wait, you're heading back Thursday or Friday?
Yes.
Are you staying over? Or are you just
Where?
passing through?
Probably just passing through.
Just passing through, sir. just passing
Oh yeah,
through.
it's at Evo. Shirts. Kyle, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm chilling.
All right. That's kind of some news and things and whatnot over the last week. We're all caught up ish. I did want to talk a little bit about Ventress. We've talked quite a bit about her on this show in other episodes. Yes, Dana is. Yeah, he loves him some Rey, and I know not everyone does, but that's okay. I think more so than that, I'm beginning to just fall in love with Ventress. Everything about Ventress, from getting pulled as a Night Sister kid or whatever, like being trained as a Jedi and then not being apprenticed to freaking Dooku, being hired to go kill Dooku, and then bounty hunt. There's so much richness, as Cam likes to point out too, like developing the stories of these people. And I really am excited finally getting through episode whatever of the Bad Batch this final season. I'm about 3 or 4 episodes behind still, but I did watch that episode today with her, and I wanted to chat about her a little bit more. Before we get into the rule of 2, because I think it plays into what my thought process is. My question to you all is, if there is a rule of 2, which we'll talk more about later in this episode today, if there is a rule of 2, how or why did Ventress exist? Was she a Sith? And if apprenticed to Dooku, and Dooku apprenticed to Palpatine, does that make sense according to Bane's rule of 2? I can't hear you if you're talking, Cam. I know, right? So this is my quandary, right? I get the Inquisitors, right? They're a group of dark side trained Sith Inquisitors, but they're not.
But Ventress is to Count Dooku as Starkiller was to Darth Vader. I mean, if you want to talk logistically.
So does it break the rule of 2?
It depends, I think, on what you see the rule of 2 as. You could say that they're preparing a Sith apprentice for when they take over, or you could say, they are just someone helping. I mean,
so
she's never
have not read that book. You've read the book, the Bane book, where it goes to that. You've read it, Debbie. I don't know, Cam, have you read it? The Bane book? I can't hear you. No? Okay.
Path of Destruction.
Path of Destruction. There you go. So I have to yield, because I haven't read it, and I've always had a problem with the rule of 2. I've always known of the rule of 2, but when they stated in Phantom Menace, always there are 2, no more, no less, which reminded me of Friday, if you've seen that. Not 10:02, not 9:50, 10 o'clock on the dot. I want my money, Smokey. I feel like it's like that. Like there can't, I don't know. Is there a gray room? Is there wiggle room for these things to exist? And if so, then why do we even have the freaking rule of 2?
It never made sense to me, because if there's only 2, no more, no less, it's like, how is that balanced? Because there's 6,000 Jedi.
Yeah.
But so how is that a balance of the Force if there's only two? That never made sense to me.
The Sith weren't trying to be balanced. It was the only logical way that Bane could see there being Sith. Because, I mean, in his order, before he killed everyone, everyone was killing each other. It was all infighting.
So how many years passed between Revan and that group? I'm sorry, not Revan. Traya. Traya was after Revan.
Traya.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Traya and that the triumvirate and Bane. Do we know how much time passed in between that? Because I feel like, at least in my mind, and I haven't read a couple of those books, that you have this huge, grand, Sith going crazy. All the Sith are everywhere. And then there's this narrowing down into what we have with Darth Traya and Nihilus and Scion. So you have those three Sith all together. Now, we're no longer a big group of crazy nutso Sith. We have just three. So then my question, what is that time frame? Do we see more occur that causes Bane and enlighten us why we go to that?
I'm looking.
You're looking that up. For the time frame? I know it's a hard one.
Yeah, so around... That's what I thought. Okay, so there's about 300 years between the Revan book and the Old Republic Deceived, which is kind of where SWTOR starts with Malgus taking over the temple,
right? Okay.
And so if we assume KOTOR takes place kind of right after the games, you're still looking at around 300 years plus. And that happened around, it says, 3900 BBY, while Bane takes place around 1003, 1000 BBY. So you're talking 2000 years plus a couple hundred in between. Maybe let's make it 1200 years in between.
So when Yoda comes into the fold, he's already past the time of Ruler 2. Especially that we know that at whatever Grogu is, 50 years old or whatever, like he's still a baby. So there's no way he would have, even if he was around, wouldn't have been cognizant of what the hell was going on with the Sith at that time, right?
I want to know how they know about the Ruler 2.
Oh, that's a good point.
Think about it. They
how would they know that?
In Phantom Menace, always two there.
How would they know that?
I thought didn't the Jedi like take pseudo credit for Bane dying or something, and they had didn't they, or did they not? Do you know?
No. What ended up happening is Bane went into hiding, so they thought all the Sith ended up dying.
Oh.
And so he ended up, he died because he forced Xana's hand. Xana, whatever her name was.
Xana, yeah.
Because she was just going to wait till he was old.
We talked about that too a little bit in a previous show. Those of you watching, the Ruler 2 is I've always found it interesting because I think I like the intent, but I just don't think it's practical. I don't think it's practical, and I don't think it was followed. Maybe by Bane initially, maybe, but even he had more people than Xana as his. God, were those other? Yeah, we talked about it in the show. It's been a while, but it's never really set right with me because we had even during the time of grooming Anakin, he had Palpatine, had Maul, Palpatine had Dooku. Did he have anyone between Dooku and Anakin?
No, that was all in the same movie.
I know it was all in the same movie, but the time frame of that movie is not a week. So I've always been curious about what that power vacuum meant or what that was like.
I think it was probably mostly just giving whatever left to Grievous to go and finish.
Wreak havoc.
Y'all think Palpatine knew Grievous was going to get his ass whooped by someone at some point, right? Maybe.
Had foreseen it.
He had foreseen it. Everything is occurring as I have foreseen. Yeah. Freaking God. Now, so when I look at Inquisitors and all these other dark side users that have the word Sith attached to them, whether that's Sith acolyte, Sith assassin, do you think maybe we Shiza? Do you think maybe we are? Hold on one second, guys.
One Mississippi.
No, more than that. A little more than 1 second. Oh my God. There was literally like 2 people actually watching when this went off. It went off. Okay, we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I? Oh. No.
You're talking about Sith Inquisitors, Sith acolyte.
Yeah, all these different Sith. Do you think they're just trying to open the floodgates for just calling shit Sith? Or do you think there's something to the I report to the Sith and therefore by default I am quote unquote Sith, but I'm not like a Sith Lord?
Tell me
but
I'm
aren't
wrong.
they just considered dark force users?
Gonna say they were never, I thought, actually called Sith. They were just the Inquisitors. And for the show, it's just the acolyte. We haven't heard the name Sith used for them yet.
So maybe I'm thinking more in the lines of SWTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, where they do use the word Sith. But I think to your point, those aren't canon yet, are they? Those games?
KOTOR isn't, and then
no,
SWTOR
it shouldn't be. None of the LucasArts stuff's canon, so no, they wouldn't
I want it to be.
See, I think like what I was trying to say earlier when I was having mic issues, I think due to the large jump in time that we go post Bane, like Tenebris, Plagueis, and then Palpatine, they weren't exactly enamored with that rule. And I mean, Palpatine is, I mean, I think we've all kind of said his ultimate goal was to rule the galaxy. He was like rule of one, I guess you could say, or something like that. And kind of everyone under him was going to be just mere tools to act out his will or the dark side of the force's will or whatever, you know? So not necessarily, I don't really think probably up to Plagueis, maybe even Tenebris at the time, like the rule of 2 even means anything to the Sith at that time, because it's been what? Almost a thousand years, you know?
1,000 years.
Yeah, I mean, and at that time it's bound to, they're just not going to be as, well, that makes no sense, you know? Because, I don't know. That's kind of my thought on it.
Thing. How can you stick to that rule when the galaxy is a mighty big place? There's all kinds of planets. How is one to know if there's a Darth, Dark Lord on, a planet that's, 10 million miles away from where you're at? How you can't enforce it.
Yeah, logistically, that does not make any sense.
Yeah.
And like I've mentioned before on this show, I just finished reading Fate of the Jedi, and Luke and Ben stumble upon Sith at a Maw station, and then find out that there's a whole freaking planet of Sith. Not Sith in the sense that we kind of relate to. I mean, yeah, they're dark side users and everything, but yeah, there's a whole planet and nobody knew about it. So the rule of 2 never made too much logic sense to me. It's illogical.
It seems that it was made to protect. I mean, I get it was made to prevent the infighting, but then you wouldn't have the army in the way in which you could have had the army if you didn't have the rule of 2. If you could just figure out how to be a good leader, like Palpatine ended up doing, and take take influence instead of just threatening everybody. I think at the end of the day, then you have the Sith that would be able to do those things on a grand scale without all the infighting, without having to have this. I think we'll start doing quote bunny ears rule of two. Because did Dooku have another apprentice outside of Ventress? Was Savage his apprentice?
No, that was.
Didn't he technically find Maul again?
Well, didn't he train? Didn't he train Grievous? Didn't Grievous said that to Obi-Wan? I mean, maybe not. Not maybe not quote unquote an apprentice, but But I found out how the Jedi learned about the rule of two. Apparently, there was a dark Jedi named, I'm gonna butcher this name, Kib Jean, and he told the Jedi about the rule of two after they defeated him, but they didn't really take it serious, essentially. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of how they found out about the rule of two.
Well, that's
in Legends. So
in Legends.
Just want to preface that.
So in Legends, so canonically we don't know how they found out yet. I guess that sucks.
Yeah.
And that sucks because it's just one more thing that they've done. I say they collectively because that was in Phantom Menace, which we know Lucas did. So, where was his head at? What was he thinking in this? Did y'all see all that garbage this week with the rumor that Lucas was coming back to do a series?
He's not coming back, man.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
They're not coming back.
Yes, that's why I said.
I don't know if I want to know.
There's no way this guy's coming back.
Do not come back.
Do you think like a joint? Okay, come on. So who would you want paired with? We know we don't want Lucas alone. Who would you want paired with Lucas? And what would you want the show, a series, to revolve around?
Witwer.
We've already talked about this, Dana.
I don't know if
listening?
Lucas can come back.
Yeah.
Because none of it is his intellect, like none of it is his property anymore.
Yeah, but he has advised on movies and shows. They've had him on set.
But having him for a full
full series now. I don't see that.
Especially with like how he handled the Phantom Menace, it was like, or Phantom Menace, the prequels, it was like, this is what I want and I'm doing it.
Dude, pie in the sky. Okay,
imagine
pie in
that
the sky.
with purists like Sam Witwer and Dave Filoni, where they're like, this has already been set in the canon. I feel like Lucas would be like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I let me give you an example because I don't think I'm articulating this correctly. I would love to have Sam paired with Lucas and them do a show on a series, a limited series, not over and over again, a limited series, those two on the Darth Vader in between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Because a lot happened internally in Darth Vader between Empire and Return of the Jedi. And I would love to see how all of that plays out with both of them in charge of writing. And I say that because we know Lucas is all about redemption arc. He's all about these things. And Sam gets what Lucas does in his storytelling and also gets the lore. Okay, I'm done. That's the example I'm using. So what would you want to see Lucas paired with who and a series about what? Are y'all done with Lucas?
I'm not done with Lucas. He's just not going to be able to do anything that he wants to do.
Exactly.
That's the same thing. It's the same reason why Favreau left Marvel, and it's the same reason why he probably is. I mean, he's supposed to do the Mandalorian movie or whatever, but the same reason why he has gripes with Lucasfilm is because there are suits that make the decisions on what the shows are going to be. People in a boardroom Yeah, they have creatives, and I mean, look at every show that comes out. There's 30 executive producers on a show. You know what I mean? Like, that was part of the reason what made Star Wars so successful is because the person that was actually making it cared. I've said it 1,000. The people that run this thing don't care. It's a money grab. They have set things that they are supposed to do. That's throughout Hollywood everywhere. They have set things they're supposed to do, and I mean, when he sold it, he lost any creative direction and vision that he could want to do. Bringing him back is not. He's still going to have to get the green stamp with the little check mark. All right, that's good. Oh no, we don't like this. Sorry, there's not X amount of things we want in this show. Like, that's what's going to happen if he comes back. That's why there's nothing that I really want to see, because none of his creative vision they're going to really let him do.
Dude, you're breaking me right now with this. Like, you are so distraught that it's like, no, I can't even imagine a scenario where this would even possibly. I'm not even going to gear myself up for excitement over some hypothetical BS, because I know it would never happen. That's what I'm gathering from what you're saying.
Yeah, well, Bob Iger rented out Disney World to him and took him around and like, well, what's going to happen when you die? And he's like, well, I mean, you're making a valid point. I really don't know what's going to happen if something happens to me. What happens with this thing I've created? And, well, sell it to me. We'll continue your legacy. We'll do this. Oh, here are your screen rights for 7, 8, and 9. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it. Oh, you can totally, have a say in what we do and blah blah blah. And then once the ink is signed, it's how every business decision goes. Once you sell your business, and you're a minority owner or whatever, if you're not the majority, you have no say. So I mean, no hypothetical. And he's freaking almost, what is he, 80, 82?
Yeah.
Like, rest, man. Rest. For better or worse, he made the right decision for his family and his future. Just rest, man. Like,
ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Pepper speak to Tony Stark right now. Just take that rest. You can
just rest, man. Like, you made 6. As I said last episode, he made an IP that spawned such great stuff, whether it's canon or not canon anymore. There's still good stuff out there, and let what they're doing now, just let them do it, because it's coming one day if they don't turn the ship around.
Well, here's my take on it. Lucas would never come back. As much as the toxic fandom would, they've been begging for him to come back for years now. When these are the same people, the same freaking people who.
She's trying to hold nicely.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold my sailor language here. But these are the same people who bitched and griped about the prequels. Mm-hmm. I was not one of them because I loved the prequels. But yeah, these are the same people. And you think Lucas is going to come back and have to hear that with whatever he would come out with now, and have to hear the same bullshit.
It'd be on steroids too.
That's why it was one of the reasons he sold.
Yeah.
Because he got tired of people bitching about his movies and his vision. So I have
a sidebar question, and this might be more directed at you, Debbie, because I know you. I closeted.
I'm a bitch. I know.
100%. No, because I'm going to
clip that.
Debbie, you're the beacon of positivity for the Sith Dominion. What do you mean?
Oh my God, Debbie, we missed having you on the show. Yeah, well, F you, we're never coming back. You're a Star Trek fan.
Yes.
Okay. I am too. TNG's my jam. I've watched all but did they just release a new Discovery season or about to or
Final
something?
season, yes.
Yeah, so I got up to whatever the last season. I haven't watched that yet, and I watched season 1 and 2 of Picard. Wait, 2? There's 3 seasons.
3
Picard?
seasons.
Yeah. So I
love season 1 and 2 and just went to 3.
That's what I hear. It was a lot of time, and some of it was really slow. But at the end of the day, I love Star Trek too. I would love to be on your podcast, Stars, Captain's Log, and Lightsabers. So my question to you: I am not as well versed in that fandom. I'm well versed in Star Wars fandom. I love Star Trek in many ways for many different things. Not a huge or not a popular thing to say, but like First Contact, I really like that movie. So, anyways,
Pretty good.
Yeah. So tell me about, because I don't know that fandom. Tell me how that fandom is, and then kind of compare. Is it like that with that fandom whenever a new movie comes out? Like Counselor Troy being the first woman to drive the Enterprise and she wrecked it. You know, I mean, stuff like this. Does this bother?
Well,
I'm such a jerk.
The Trek fandom has kind of gone in the way of the Star Wars fandom. For the most part, pretty much everybody likes all the series, you know, TOS, TNG. Enterprise is kind of a hit and miss with people. Then you got DS9. I didn't watch that for eons because I just couldn't get into it. And then I finally sat down and watched it. But Discovery has gotten a lot of hate. I mean, there's people who love it. I did not like the first few seasons. This season I like. Last season wasn't too bad. Strange New Worlds I love, except for last season they had a musical episode that I hate it.
I saw that. Yeah.
I don't like it when series do that. I don't like it. It's like jumping the shark, if you guys know that meaning. But,
hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the only two that know that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people hate on Alex Kurtzman, and there's another guy who's, you know, head of doing Star Trek now, and they get a lot of hate. So yeah, it's the same thing, but they're not the original. You know, Roddenberry, Gene did all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex Kurtzman gets a lot of hate, which can't say I really disagree. But yeah. And then you got a couple of the animated series. You got Lower Decks, which is a fan favorite. There's Prodigy, which I never did get around to watching, which is a Janeway.
She was the captain of Voyager, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I look at it like I do Star Wars. I love it. There's just some I love more than others.
Yeah.
There might be one or two I don't really like.
So the fandom's comparable, or would you say one was more kind of venomous than the other, or no? They're just
Star Wars is way more toxic in my opinion.
Yeah.
Way more toxic.
I'd say as a whole, like just any fandom. Like I've been delving into the Lord of the Rings fandom, and I mean, it's with social media now, it's gonna be difficult to escape the toxicity, just because everyone has access to post and comment, right? And ratio.
Keyboard warriors that, you know, say whatever they want because nobody, you know, nobody can see you.
Yeah.
Anonymity. Yeah.
And sometimes it's not a few bad apples. It's just like sometimes the bad apples are really vocalized. I won't disagree that the Star Wars fandom's probably the most toxic one out there. But I would attribute that a lot to The Last Jedi, because that movie as a whole, I felt like, is what split the fandom, because it was almost a spit in the face for being a fan of the characters that y'all saw in theaters, and then that my stepdad showed me, that I grew up loving, and then it was just, that's where I feel like the divide came. And then with Twitter and then the pandemic and everyone's on all the time, it's just like, now we're going to have, time to sink our teeth into this. And I feel like also the rise of YouTube critics and those type of things too. I mean, it's just social media as a whole is just a cesspool of toxicity. I don't think if you go onto any site looking for something positive, it's going to be tough to find,
Yeah.
There's a few YouTube shows that I like to watch, and a few TikTokers that I like, because they're positive. They're talking about. Fuck are you pointing at?
The Sith Dominion at the top. The Sith Dominion at the top. Although I have it right here.
Are you raising your hand to talk, or what are you
doing?
No,
I'm like being the the picture in the book to your.
Well, it depends on what we're talking about.
Show. You watch a show on YouTube, and I'm like, it's this one here. This is the show you watch on YouTube. Sorry, I'll shut up.
but like, I mean, it's tough because on the one hand, I have the opinion of I'm a paying customer, and if I think it's terrible, then I have the right to voice my opinion. But there's just there's an invisible, impossible line for people to come with that. What is critiquing and what is harassment, sexism, racism,
bashing.
those
bashing, just to be bashing.
Yeah, just
Clickbait.
hate bashing. So I mean, it is what it is.
Okay, I feel like I'm getting wound up, and I don't want to be.
I did that for you.
You were starting to get me wound up because you're calling me out on my pointing. No, because you guys are right. Like at the end of the day, Cam, you're right. We're paying customers. We have a right to pay and not to pay. We have a right to pay and then complain if we want, or give praise. Either or. It's a free freaking country, and that's why we live here, and that's why we have the movies we have, right? So so when it comes to fandom, the reason that some of us get so fucking so pissed off is because we have ourselves invested in these characters and what happens to them. Yeah, right or wrong, I don't care. It is what happens when you have good writing. Whatever you want to say about Twilight, I don't care. It was really well written, and it had a load of fans, okay? Because it was well written. It was good. I didn't watch it until 4 years ago or so.
Geek cinema, man.
I was like, this is terrible for me, but it's good. I can respect what they did. Don't destroy me on this stupid platform.
The books were better.
I was forced to watch all of them. They are good.
I'm just trying to be honest. Don't watch.
Twilight's phenomenal. Twililight's phenomenal.
I'm not a sparkly guy, but I definitely a vampire dude.
Good actor,
so whatever.
Good actor.
I get it, right? There's gonna be some things that we can associate with in these characters that we were growing up on, and now they've changed it. Now, hold on a second. Who read Lord of the Rings, all the shits? Who's read them all?
I'm in the midst.
Okay, I am not going to raise my hand. I haven't read a lick. Oh, wait. There once was this hole, and in the hole was a hobbit. Whatever. That first paragraph of The Hobbit, I read that, and I was at the library, and I put that shit right back when I was a kid. I was like, there's no pictures. I'm out. So but they have a fandom as well, and I remember there was some chatter when some of this came out about this or that or whatever, but not with the same level of toxicity, and I think it was because it was done well. Okay? Lord of the Rings series on the movies, it was done well. Is it perfect? No. Are there things that could have been done better or should not have been left out? Certainly. That's what we do when we convert books, right? But us as Star Wars fans had made a connection, Cameron, Debbie, Zane, with some of these characters on some levels greater than others. Let's be honest. When I lose my shit about Han Solo is because every kid, what did I say? Something about every kid that was told they were a bad kid could look up to Han Solo and understand that it doesn't matter what other people say. At the end of the day, whatever you feel like in your heart you need to do, and you're going to be all right. I like those kind of lessons we didn't have in the later episodes. So I get it. My question about the other fandoms is it that toxic? Or are Star Wars fans just at a different level? And if they are,
Marvel is very toxic.
Marvel. So yeah, it's a good question. They MCU Mondays, right? That's another show Debbie's on. She's on like 80 shows. She is a celebrity. That's what
Marvel's going through their phase 4. I feel like was Marvel's Last Jedi. I feel like it just splintered.
What was in phase 4? All those series we got, like Echo and all this, is that all in phase 4?
Spider-Man movies?
Phase 5, I think.
Oh.
You had Shang-Chi, you had Thor Love and Thunder, which is one of the absolute worst movies of all time.
Real quick, I heard Thor, Chris Hemsworth stated he would love to come back and do another one because he felt like he didn't. That was terrible.
He's not the one that should be apologizing. There is a person on set called the director, the visionary, that should have known that's not how that character is supposed to be portrayed. Anyways, and then you had Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. You had Spider-Man: No Way Home, which
it was okay.
I mean, it was a good story. I mean, definitely some
like that one. Yeah.
It was
definitely some
sure.
yeah, but it was done well. I feel like. Then you had the series that She-Hulk, which is terrible. Then you had
I couldn't watch.
I liked it.
Moon Knight. Was Moon Knight phase 4?
I still didn't finish Moon Knight yet.
Moon Knight was phase 4.
Miss Marvel is part of that as well.
Yeah, I like Oscar
honestly,
Isaac. But yeah, they're all going down a trek where I feel like everyone's just kind of splitting. I don't know if they've had their Last Jedi moment per se, because that's the comparison I'm making, but I feel like they're going through it right now.
So my question kind of circles around, do you feel those fandoms are toxic too? And you're saying, yeah, I mean, with Marvel, there was a lot to be dealt out to. James Gunn. Like, I don't know who they're dealing it to. The movies that I really enjoyed, I enjoyed so much that I'd watch multiple times. But the movies, there were a few through those phases that I was like, it's all right. Are you just gap filling for story? And I don't want that with Star Wars. And I feel like who was that stated that? Charles earlier? I'm going to pull that comment back up. I don't think Charles is with us anymore, but you think Disney's running this into the ground? Not been happy with it since they took ownership. We get so damn excited about new content, and we talk about it because we have lived through the doldrums of no content except for a book
dark ages.
Every quarter. Like it was terrible. And now we have content galore. From what I am watching so far, so good. Like I said, I'm almost done now or caught up to the Bad Batch. What do you guys think? I mean, is it something that they're flooding us with? We're back to the HoloNet news section.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a valid question, Charles. Thank you.
Feels like a quantity over quality type of thing right now. It just seems like for all these years we've been asking for more and more content, and now we're just getting a bunch of it, but it isn't. A lot of them have been pretty mid at best. We're not getting the quality we expected from Star Wars.
The problem is the mothership. That's what the problem is, and I mean they took a gamble on Disney Plus. They took a gamble on other things that I don't feel like we should need to get into, and they are losing, and that is evident in the stock price. Bob Iger came back for damage control, and he is talking. I've said this before. He's talking like somebody I feel like that is going to start selling things under his mothership. And like Zane said, I mean, they're just focused on quantity, not quality. Nothing. We'll get the show, or we'll get the movie that they put out that you can tell there was some heart and some love for the material that they're putting out, and then you get other stuff like
Last Jedi,
or I don't know, like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, or Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know. They're just throwing, like, how do you have Christian Bale as your main villain and he has like 15 minutes of freaking screen time? That makes no sense. He was the God Killer.
It was Gore, the God Killer. Yeah.
I mean, every scene he's in is phenomenal, but like
it's
movie as a
Love
whole.
and Thunder.
In Love and Thunder, I've only seen it once, so I didn't even realize Christian. I
One
didn't
with
even
Russell
realize
Crowe.
Yeah,
it was
but
a terrible movie.
That's blasphemy.
I mean,
it was very
love
fast.
Sorry, Cam. Go.
Yeah, I mean, they took a gamble and they lost. Disney Plus is one of the worst things to ever happen to the mothership. And as a whole, I mean, it's just so expensive to go to a movie theater now.
Yeah.
And if you've put out some misses, and it's going to cost a family of 3 or 4 to $100 to go to the theaters after tickets and snacks. I mean, and people are already living paycheck to paycheck and everything else going on in the world. Like, and it's going to come out on your streaming service in 3 months that you already pay $6.99 or $70 a year for. Like, I'll just wait. Like, there's nothing. But people want to see good stuff. People want to watch good stuff on the streaming service. Fallout, Dune, Top Gun Maverick, Oppenheimer, Barbie. I mean, people want to consume good stuff, but just put out good stuff. And no multiverse.
They need to quit with the live action. You know, now they're coming out with Mufasa. Come on.
Yeah. No.
I saw something. I thought that was a joke. I was scrolling through there was something. I was like, whatever, and I kept scrolling. Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you know, they're doing all these live actions of the classics, and it's like, leave them alone. Just leave them alone. Come up with new shit. I mean, come on. Where's the creativity? And this is for all of Hollywood. I was scrolling through AMC theaters for because I wanted to see what time Phantom Menace started Saturday. And there's like, oh my God, 4. Let's see, Phantom Menace. And then they've got, hold on. The Mummy 25th anniversary. I believe they're coming out with Aliens anniversary re-release.
Right. I saw that. Yeah.
The Spider-Mans are re-releasing.
Right. So it's like, I mean, I'm not bitching, but you know, those I don't mind going to see because they're good movies, but it's just like they just can't come up with anything original. It seems.
Give AI a chance. Let's give AI a chance. I mean, at this point, like we're running out of stuff. Let that old computer make something up.
Look, I tell that girl in the box, like anytime I ask her for something, I say her name again and tell her thank you, just in case. You know, they take over. They know Dana was a good one. So I'll be safe.
Well, the thing is that there are millions of books out there that have not been touched. Why doesn't Hollywood read and maybe adapt some of these books, or take movies that were adapted and sucked because, you know, they did it wrong? Redo those movies.
Debbie, they can only do Fantastic Four 8 times. I mean, come on. How many times do you want them to do it?
This time.
Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic. Are you serious, man?
You should have had freaking John Krasinski or whatever his name is. I loved him as like standing up as one of the not the Watchers.
Illuminati.
Illuminati. Yes, that's it. as those guys.
I like Pedro, but I mean, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'll have to wait and see it. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I love Pedro. I thought it was an odd choice, but I'm gonna
Every
not
other
say
casting
anything until I actually see it.
Every other casting I feel like is good. The dude from Stranger Things as Johnny, I'm game to see
Joseph
that.
Quinn.
Wait, what dude? Who?
Joseph Quinn.
Joseph
He plays
Quinn.
Eddie in Stranger Things.
Eddie?
Yeah.
I'm down.
You know, like,
oh, that guy. Yeah.
Zane, have you seen Stranger Things, bro?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I had it.
We gotta ask if Zane's seen something, man.
Took a while. I was one of those people that was like, "Oh, I haven't seen Stranger Things. I'm so cool." And then I watched it, and I was like, "I looked like a dumbass."
Yeah. Those kids are gonna be like 30 when the final season comes out.
Jay, hey, you guys, DM me and I'll shoot you those coordinates. You'll see what's really going on. All right. It's all about conditioning. So, we are at the 1 hour and 10 mark, and we have like 2 or 3 things to talk about. I don't want to like have this too late because we've been going like 2 hours, and Debbie wants to leave us right away.
Yeah, I'm ready to pop off.
Well, and you're about to leave, right? I know that you were saying before the show you had told me you need to leave. So if you need to bounce, just it's okay, bounce. So we'll tell you. Bounce with me. No. So yeah, Debbie. When you do leave, thank you. This has been fantastic.
I will see you guys later.
Okay, are you just leaving now? Just leave now.
Yeah.
Just leave now. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Go away. No,
you're fine without me. You'll be okay.
Thank you.
You'll be okay. I swear.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Dana.
Okay, I said we'll see her next week.
And then there were 3.
Okay, now talk to me, Goose. What?
Dana, look, here's the deal, man. I had a question for you. I was thinking about this earlier.
Hold on.
No, it's not going to be. It literally has to deal with the topic we're going.
Oh, okay. I was afraid I was going to have some sort of expectation of losing my mind.
Hey, you started, man. I didn't start it this time. I feel like that was you tonight. It wasn't me.
It was.
So
you asked the question.
Yeah. So I was looking at the outline earlier, and I kind of touched on it too, with how Sith, as the years went on, became more disinterested with the rule of 2, and by the time it got to Palpatine, that he had his own vision. Do you think because they lived in the shadows so long and Bane thought that was kind of the way they needed to do it, that it was what we got was bound to happen, whether it was Palpatine or not, or is Palpatine a figure, like is he Star Wars Thanos, right? Like inevitably he was going to happen. Like there was no chance for him to be a beacon of, like, he was created to be this final entity for like the Sith. Like he is the culmination of what, from the way I've interpreted the rule of 2 and what I've read throughout the day today, I feel like Palpatine was at the cusp of what Bane was trying to do. You had the master, and then you had the apprentice, and once the apprentice got to the point where he would need to take the next step to kill his master and become the master, because I feel like Bane's goal was the Sith masters were each one was going to be better, which is why there could only be 2, right? Because previously you had multiple, and what was it, the Brotherhood, right, that he didn't like, and all that stuff,
Sith Brotherhood. Mm-hmm.
So like, in short, like, obviously they became disinterested with it, but what is Palpatine not the culmination of what Bane was trying to achieve for the Sith is my question.
I love that question. Give me one moment.
Okay.
That's a great question you asked there.
All right. What's up, Zane? Oh, he's back.
He's back.
He just dipped on me like that. Like, come on, man. Oh, he's taking a sip. Lock in.
Gotta get that pinky out.
Lock in.
I have nothing left.
19 Crimes. Really good stuff. Okay. Yes. Darth Sidious would not have been Darth Sidious were it not for the rule of two. When you have Bane's thought process, like you stated, and I'm in agreement, it's each master encompasses previous master and then some, right? That's the legacy that, from a leadership perspective, and everything that I do as a leadership coach, as a personal growth coach, everything is really focused on, I am this kind of guy, but I need the person I'm working with to be this kind of person. And if I stay at this kind of person, that's fine. But my legacy is that each person beyond me continues to grow and be bigger and better than I was. Every person I come into contact with is bigger and better than I am. And I truly believe that was the long game that Bane was playing. And I do not believe, I think in today's time, without going crazy political stuff, there is a lot out there on things like communism, socialism, where there is a long game in play to move the US of A into a more socialistic and or communistic ideology. We're not talking about whether that's right or wrong or whatever. It's a long game, right? Yeah. That was Bane, from my perspective. Bane was, I may not be the guy. I'd love to be the guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm going to be the guy, but someone, because of what I'm instituting, will become the guy, bigger and grander and better than I ever could have imagined. See, understand that Palpatine, I know you get this, Palpatine had the entire galaxy under his thumb. There were minimal uprisings. It wasn't like the way in which he came in. This is why even my ex-employees, if any of you ever listen to this or watch this, you will be like, yep, that was Dana. It is no, I will bring an ex-employee from like 10 years ago on this show, and they will tell you Dana was the emperor. Like, this is what I did. I followed what he did, not just manipulating people. That was not what Palpatine did. He influenced them. But he gained all that experience, Cam. Thank you for bringing this up, through the rule of two. The rule of two means you only have you and whoever's above you as the apprentice. And we're looking at Palpatine specifically. So as the apprentice, he's like, okay, I have the world at my feet with the one exception, my boss. And my boss has given me an autonomy. Like, here's the framework. This is what we want to do. But you have the autonomy to accomplish those things however you see fit. That was Plagueis's mistake. He should have provided him a more stringent framework. And I know this because I'm a people leader.
well, wasn't Plagueis' thing that he and Palpatine, like, he wanted him and Palpatine to rule forever, which was kind of I thought Plagueis' idea. And it's even a question I have now. Well, another couple questions. It's like, would Bane then consider what Palpatine did a success, even though he technically, the people that Palpatine came up under, non-traditional rule of two Sith, if we want to call them that. Shout out to Hu Yang. Would Bane still consider what Palpatine did a success? Because I would consider it, yes, because the Jedi were no more, or at their least hanging on for dear life. And two, what was then Palpatine's plan with Anakin, assuming Anakin doesn't, like, how is Anakin not burning on Mustafar? If Anakin wins, how does that play into Palpatine's grand plan of ruling forever? Because eventually, Anakin is going. If Anakin reaches his potential,
he's killing Palpatine.
He's killing Palpatine.
Right, but Palpatine knew this, right? And Palpatine, he not only would see, but he would manifest, right? So whereas Yoda, the Jedi were very much like see into the future, future's always changing, et cetera, et cetera. Palpatine was very much future's always changing. I see it, but I can do things to manipulate or influence the future by making this move or that move. And that's what made him the quote unquote Sith architect. You Google Sith architect, that's who's going to show up. So to your question, I don't know that he would consider it a success by the rule of 2, because we've talked about it in the Soul Palpatine episode. He was very loose and fast with the rule of 2. But he used what he had to use to accomplish what he needed to accomplish, which is deeply embedded in the Sith code, is it not? So
it is.
So what would Bane think? WWJ or BT? What would Bane think? He would, I don't know. I can't speak for him, but I would think he would be like, really, dude, that's not how we should have done it. But good job getting to where you were going to go. Because I think Palpatine was jumpy. I think Plagueis, I haven't read the book. I've only seen Cliff Note type stuff. I know. Don't look at me like that, Zane. Please, for Pete's sake.
I've listened to like half of the audiobook through clips on YouTube.
I can't imagine. I just feel like he was premature. Palpatine had to do what he had to do in order to be where he had to be, and we understand that, right? But I think had he just waited, do you think he would have? Well, but if he would have waited, things would not have transpired the way they did. He knew he had to do what he had to do. He had to do it.
If he didn't,
this is where the future. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Zane.
Well, I was gonna say if he didn't take that option, he would have never had the chance. Maybe someone in the future, but not him.
So we're meant to talk about this stuff in the next show, but we can keep on this subject because there's plenty more in the Rey saga to talk about Sith and what is and is not Sith. Don't look at me laugh.
There was Sith in the.
I'm just hold on.
I saw one Sith.
Okay, continue.
So, and we'll talk about how Tarkin was probably Snoke, but you don't want to hear about that.
Oh, Jesus.
So,
no.
Totally, Palpatine, dude. So somehow Palpatine returned, right? We'll talk about that Sith and longevity, and I mean that was his goal, right, Cam? I mean, regardless of how they presented it.
Hey, if Debbie watches this back or is listening right now, whatever she's doing, Debbie, your opinion has grown after further research and reading Dark Empire and all this. I understand it was his long-term goal. I still don't like it how it was portrayed, but I can vibe with that was his plan.
You cannot tell me that it was a surprise to Palpatine when he drew the Force off of them and his hands began to magically start coming back together like he was a young person, like it was the freaking Dark Crystal. Okay, we know where you stole that shit from, Luke. Like not Lucasfilm. Like you guys totally stole that shit. 1, 2. Really, he wouldn't have known that. I can't imagine. He knows about the dyad. He knows. Oh my God, you guys are pissing me off. He knows about all this shit. So you're telling me he's like, oh, I'm all surprised. Bullshit. He wasn't surprised. He knew what he was doing. And again, to your point, they don't know what they're doing over there. They don't know what they're doing. That's not like he would have known that already. He was an aficionado in the ancient arts of holocrons, of Sith holocrons. Like he had control of the goddamn freaking Jedi archives. He knew everything that there could potentially be known at that time, minus anything he was still searching for. So you can't tell me he was all surprised that his hands got all younger when he was able to draw the Force off of Rey and Ben. Whew. Sorry. Uh-oh. Nah,
I'm finding something. I saw a
I feel
quote.
like
I think we're getting a
little.
little too close into the sequels now.
We are. That's
Yeah.
for next week. And I just
back it up. Back it up. Back it up.
See, I can't. Oh, I saw this hideous quote, and it was something where. Anyways, no bashing. I'm asking another question, kind of based off the outline, but in my own pondering with how the Force works. When do you think? I mean, clearly the Force made Anakin because he was meant to restore whatever balance the Force thinks is balance, correct? But assuming Palpatine wins, right? When does the Force finally? Because the Sith's rule is like, I will use the Force as I see fit unto no end. Is kind of how I interpret it, right? When does the Force itself say? Because it's not an infinity gauntlet. It's not, it's not something that the user can just like. When does the Force say this is enough? This is not okay. If the Force has any morality,
I don't believe the Force. I don't know. I'm not an expert. My feeling, based on anything and everything I've ever known of or thought of within the Force, is that it is indifferent. It just continues to try to stay balanced. So why was Palpatine and Dooku, for that matter, Maul, so freaking powerful? Because there was like hundreds of Jedi. And what was it? Our boy, Kanan Jarrus, Prince Jr., Freddie Prinze Jr., that you had Palpatine and you had Vader, and they were the most powerful. They killed all the other Jedi. I know. Now we don't have. We have other Jedi, Kanan and these guys, but you had Sidious and you had Vader.
The power was on.
And so to counter that, the most powerful beings were born, Leia and Luke. The Force doesn't have a goal of good or bad or our perception of which to win or lose, right? The goal is to remain balanced. And if that's the goal of the Force, then we're going to continually have, I don't want to say war, but conflict between the dark side and the light side, which is embedded in us. Every day, Cam, every day, Zane, every day, Dana, every day, Debbie wakes up. Throughout your day, there is the struggle. I don't want to punch that person in the throat because I'll end up in jail, but God, they piss me off. That's my dark side. My light side is, well, they might be having a bad day. We have to be balanced or we end up with ulcers. We have to be balanced or we get run over because we're too nice. Lucas is not stupid, right? I mean, he understands storytelling. He understands the scope and breadth of what he's trying to communicate to us.
So I'm assuming, and I think I went and put up a quote here. Plagueis said in the book, in reference to the Sith, 30 in a millennium rather than the tens of thousands fit to be Jedi. So what I'm assuming is because with Jedi, due to their teachings, there's a certain limitation to what that person can become as a Force wielder, correct?
Yes.
Whereas when you're a Sith, there is unlimited potential as a Force wielder, I would assume, right?
Yes.
So that would then make sense as to why, like what you're saying with what Freddie Prinze says, like Vader at 80% is better than probably 100 Jedi at 100%, maybe even 1,000. I don't know how to power scale that. I'm not a power scaler, but and then Palpatine at 100% is equally the same, maybe a little more.
For 800 years old Yoda, as skilled as he was with a saber at a true or whatever his form was, I can't pronounce that, and his knowledge of the Force, lost to Palpatine, who's only 60-something years old at that point. I mean,
and he didn't like to use lightsabers, but he mastered all the forms. But he was not a fan of lightsabers.
But man, he could do it.
Yeah, and so it's like that's what's so interesting with the concept of like the dark side and the light side, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why would you not? Like, you can't blame people that fall to the dark side because it's literally like the Sith Code says that there is no what's the thing that stops you from going super fast and like full wheelers and stuff? Yeah, there's no governor when you're a Sith.
Oh, gotcha.
You can just you can just keep going, man. Whereas like a Jedi, like the Jedi,
you're capped.
The Jedi Masters and the Jedi Council kind of cap you to what they think you can do, and then once you're on the Council, you're just like, well, we've been at this for 1,000 years, and nothing has happened to like we are doing this correctly, right?
And, Sith are OP, right? Sith are OP, and the Jedi are nerfed. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah, I mean, meta. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what I think the Force is kind of maybe. Oh, God, we had talked about something where we had what the Force's definition of balance was, but now it just makes it even more interesting because what's the cap now, and we can wait until next episode to kind of talk what is the cap now, because what are going to be the limits of these new Jedi that come? What are going, if they're Sith or whoever, what is their limit? What is their motivation? What is like
here's
like if like Palpatine was it. If we're going off of all 9 films, he was it. He was at the end of each trilogy. And if he's gone, I mean, if he's gone, like, what is there to tempt new Jedi? What is, and I know the galaxy is just massive, and with the new galaxy, Peridia and all that, like, what is? How does one get better than Palpatine now?
So I'm gonna throw something out there to your point, and I'm gonna break your brain.
Oh, jeez.
Palpatine and Vader. I mean, arguably more powerful than even the Triumvirate, I would say. Those two together, they did some amazing things. So to balance that, we had the twins. Freddie Prinze Jr. talks about this. Lucas talks about this. So when you kill Vader, when Vader dies, and when Palpatine is killed, you now have an out of balance dark side vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Force attempt to correct it by bringing in more dark side to balance out the light? If it is, in fact, a non-subjective thing, aura, whatever you have, whatever, M count, as they say.
Because they don't want to say midichlorians anymore.
That's right. They're trying so hard. You guys see where I'm going with this. What I mean, am I wrong in that thought process of if if we have twins to counter the superpower of Palpatine and Vader, why couldn't we have a dark side group or person born to counter? If it truly is about balance and not good and dark, or good and bad and dark and light, it's about balance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're right, man, and that's where it's another reason why I don't think they're doing Abeloth with Ahsoka, because I feel like one, that's just, I don't even know from what I know, because I still am, you know me, I'm trying to get to that, but I'm in the middle of Lord of the Rings. But it's like, I mean, where does that power go in terms of where they're at in the timeline now? I feel like it's something they could do with the Rey story arc, because I feel like there's nothing left for them to. What is the next balance? Because is Rey going to have the same limitations for her Jedi and herself that past Jedi have? I'm assuming probably not. Where are Sith holocrons? Where is what planet? What?
Well, dude, Coruscant's gone. Coruscant's exploded, which is where a shitload of artifacts were because of Palpatine.
Both Jedi and Sith.
Yes. All right, I digress. I'll stop. Yeah. But, yeah, all the places. Thank you, Disney. You blew up everything we had collected at this point. You're right.
Yeah,
what
I mean,
do you do?
And it's like, what is there to counter the out of balance? Because I think that from what I know, I think that the Force and Lucas had a goal of it has to be, whether this side has 1,000 or this side has 2, there is a balance that the Force has to feel within the universe. I don't know what that is going to be now. And I don't know.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say sequels, we know that I remember you touching up on it was out of balance.
Yeah.
But why was it out of balance for so long? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because who's to say that remember what Kenobi said when he died? You strike me down, I become more powerful than you'll ever know. He became one with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say in a certain way Palpatine didn't, in the same vein, become more powerful in the Force after he had died, almost making up for whatever Luke was? Because from as far as we know, Luke is not crazy as he was in Legends.
He's not even half, bro. Like him in that book, he was getting waxed by.
I bet a Force Ghost Palpatine would be just as powerful.
Yeah.
And who's to say he didn't keep getting more powerful, being able to clone himself to the point of, oh, now we have to have Rey just to counteract this growing dark side tension from Palpatine.
And for those of you that are listening right now, my apologies. We're going to talk about this on the next show as well, because we're going from Rule of 2 forward, which is a lot of Palpatine. Rule of 2 is where we were supposed to stop, but in this show we keep going, right? I mean, it is what it is. I'm not upset. I just want to preface the people that listen, for the next show we're going to recap some of this, because this is gold too. Like, this is exactly what we've been talking about for 35 freaking shows, man. That you when you look at what the Force is, when you look at what we've been taught the Force truly is, not from Disney, not like from the source Lucas, from the source Filoni, from the source Sam, who we talked about earlier on this show, from the source freaking what's his name? Anyways, all of it point. What? Who?
Filoni?
I already said Filoni.
He did.
Yeah. Anyways, all those, all these people. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
So all these people pointing out the fact that, one, they're really, video games kind of ruined us, right? Like we will see Jedi and we will see Sith as a leveling. Like I'm now a Jedi master because I accomplished X, Y, and Z. And we should know from the movies, which are canon, that that's just not how it worked, because Anakin was a very accomplished Jedi, but he was not a master. So knowing how the doctrine of the Jedi function, knowing how the doctrine of the Sith function, knowing what we know of the Force and how it functions, I believe that we have potentially in this episode created way more questions than we have answers based on the subject of balance, based on the subject of, if you have the rule of two, how powerful were these two, which is what Cam was getting at a while ago, I believe. How powerful are these two if there's hundreds of Jedi? Sith Lords are our specialty. Who said that? Kenobi. What happened 5 seconds after that? Bitch was laying underneath. So
we're never good in time.
So my point in that is, yes, Dooku, badass. However, remember, there was another Sith Lord right there, potentially using a dark side skill to cloud the vision of Kenobi so that Dooku could at least get him in a position where he couldn't interfere, so that Anakin could be tempted to kill Dooku. Again, Palpatine,
do it
next to Vader, my absolute favorite, because of that kind of shit. And that shit was written by who? None other than George Lucas. So F you naysayers on George Lucas. You have to take the good with the bad in that case. If he wants to make episode 2 a love story about Padme and Anakin, so be it. Enjoy it, love it, and drink it.
He can be a good universe builder and all. I mean, he can't be everything, right? He can't be a fantastic writer. He can't be a fantastic storyteller. Can't be a fantastic world build. I mean, there's only certain things. I mean, at one point, because if you're a jack of all trades, well, then you're a master of none, essentially, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I thoroughly take George's take on Star Wars, and even the people that wrote the Legends continuity, because each person brought their own take and their own world building to the world that he had created, and the endless amount of roads that he could have that you could take with the story. And so this is the last question from the outline, because I have my answer, hence who I've been kind of talking about for the last 15-30 minutes. Who is y'all's most who do y'all think is the most influential and or how is the word in the outline? Critical to the to the galaxy, where it was taken or where it's even at now. Who was y'all's? Yeah, who was y'all's? If it weren't for this guy, we don't have X. Or we don't have.
It really is Bane. It really is Bane. 100%. Because what ended up happening, because and please, I know I drank all but this much of a bottle of wine during the show.
Yes, sir.
Please try to follow.
I'm locked in.
I am locked in right here.
Bane created the rule of two. The rule of two inadvertently created a more powerful Sith if we follow the path and ideology that the Force is continually trying to be balanced. Because there were hundreds, if not 1,000 Jedi, which would mean that if there was a rule of two, that those two were way more powerful than anything else out there. So, when we start to move into the Acolytes, when we start to move into the Inquisitors, when we start to move into the apprentice having an apprentice, those things are expected, right? I mean, am I wrong? They're expected if you believe the Force truly is trying to accomplish balance. Now, this is the Dr. Dana Martin jumping in now. So when it comes, I know, right? Let's get in here. So when how do I articulate this? When you wake up in the morning, the first thought in your head, is it, fuck, I gotta go to work, gotta get up, gotta get ready, day? Or is it, all right, good evening, good morning, and good night, or whatever, Bruce Almighty? No. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be like, I gotta get up.
Truman Show.
Thank you. I love that. Actually, that wasn't the Truman Show. That was Bruce Almighty. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yes. So that's how the cookie crumbles. So to your question, Cam, repeat your question for the audience.
So who was essentially who is the most influential, and if we don't get what we got if this guy doesn't do what this person doesn't do what they decided to do.
Right. So, Bane, rule of 2, you have all these Jedi and only 2 Sith, which creates a huge amount of power within the Sith, and creates, if they were to have an apprentice outside of the apprentice, you're still only kind of diluting it by 5 or 6 at most. Even in the height of Inquisitors, you're diluting it by, what was there, 9 sister, 11 sister, whatever. I
think there was like 10 plus.
Yeah, so
it was like 13.
Even to that, you're looking at a dilution of let's just say 13,
14
to 100. Now, how many were left at the time the Inquisitors came to be? And that's where we start to get into how powerful Ahsoka is. Honestly, let's think about this. If the rule of 2, if there's only a few Sith left, we have to assume, based on the Force imbalance, that the Sith are super powerful. Now they've killed all the Jedi, but I don't know, 20, 30? Now what's happening? So I don't think we've really thought that piece through. That as they are killing Jedi with Order 66, they're increasing their likelihood of less power, that the Force is going to counter them. So for as smart as Palpatine was, if he could not accomplish Order 66 and eradicate Jedi completely, he knows he has to have a plan B. What's his plan B?
Rule forever.
How is he going to do that?
Live forever.
By cloning. Yeah. That he's been involved in since the beginning. So when that last movie came out, and I thought it was stupid and ridiculous on some levels, it made sense from a Palpatine perspective that that's who he was at that time, because he has always been obsessed with longevity. What's up, Dylan? Yeah, he pickle jarred himself 100%. That's exactly what he did.
Oh, what's up, Dylan?
Oh, you know this cat?
Yeah, it's my cousin.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
My guy.
On the tail end, man. You're catching us on the end. So I hope that answers that question, because as they were destroying Jedi, they themselves were becoming more, they were making the opposition more powerful, and I would have to assume some way, somehow, Palpatine knew that. He also said in Episode 3, the Jedi are relentless. We must get rid of them. Like all of them, not just like he knew the Force well enough to know if he didn't eradicate them, his rule would be extremely short.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that. I hope that that answers that. But yeah, Bane, 100%. By him creating the rule of two, he created a super powerful group of Sith of 2 or 3 or 4, however that may work. Otherwise, then yeah, it would have been like in SWTOR where they land and they open up the thing and it's all these Sith and everybody's kind of equal and it's who's a little bit better at this or that. No. It had to be that way. Bane had to have the rule of two so that Palpatine would be as powerful as he was to defeat Yoda. Because I believe Yoda was the crux and all that. Another episode, another time. Yoda, honestly, if he didn't defeat Yoda, it's over. Am I wrong? He had to defeat Yoda. How else would he have been able to do what he did?
I mean, if Vader wins,
it doesn't matter because he wasn't as
Vader's never going to win. Vader's never going to win because Obi-Wan is smart, smarter than Anakin, and always has been. Because he okay. Okay, this is one thing I'll give the Jedi. They're a little clear-headed thinking, right? He knows and he understands that there are things that they teach in the academy, like it was common knowledge what happened with Qui-Gon. It was common knowledge. Like everybody knew this. This was something that no doubt was taught. This is how you survive this shit, right? So Anakin knew this is how you survive low ground. Except your boy Kenobi has won on high ground and low ground.
Yeah.
So he knew Anakin was taught X way. He knew Anakin was going to jump and twist and turn and flip X way. So he knew how to counter it. And it was instinctual. It was muscle memory. It just happened. My heart goes out to Kenobi. I don't think he meant to do it. I think he just did it.
No, the novelization really does a great job when they get towards the end of that fight. If I remember correctly, he was like, if this keeps on going, I think I'm going to lose. Like, I need to... The high ground was more of like an escape. I feel like if I'm remembering how...
I haven't read that. The novelization of episode 3?
Dana, it is...
one of the best.
Honestly, the audiobook is phenomenal.
Like Audible or whatever.
Yeah, I mean it would be entirely worth however much it costs. It can't be that much, but I remember when they get to that point, Kenobi kind of internalizing that, and yeah, he didn't mean to do what he did to Anakin. It was more like, this is... Yeah. I feel like maybe the legs, but it kind of just, the way he fell on the lightsaber, I mean, it was just kind of, it happened. But I think if Vader wins, it's just, if that fight keeps on going, I think Anakin wins. It's just,
Obi-Wan has been that guy. Am I wrong? Like, he's always been the high ground guy, not physical. Like, he's always been that guy. And as much as I give the Jedi shit, Obi-Wan did his best. And he, of all the Jedi, even Yoda, showed the most humility and the most humanization of, I'm a Jedi, but I fucked up that I've ever seen. Oh God, I dropped that.
No.
We're PG-13. We're good.
Now, Ben Kenobi pre-Legends Luke, like Kenobi in the Kenobi book, is I feel like pre-Luke becoming who he becomes in Legends is the ultimate culmination of what a Jedi should be. Pre-Luke becoming what he became in terms of, growing past the prequel Jedi, I feel like, I think that's what makes him, I think I've said it a few episodes ago, I think that's what makes him probably the best character in the series. Because he lost it all, and he still was a Jedi through and through to the end.
Yeah.
And how he's portrayed in that mall fight in Rebels while it's short, so good. I watched it the other day because once a week I'll go through my little watch through of clips and stuff, and I love that one so much because
look,
he's genuinely saddened that he has to do it, but once Maul is like, you're protecting someone, and then the slight change in his face, you see it, and he's like, if I let him get this kid, there is no hope. I mean, that's just, people can hate on Rebels all they want, man. It's not as good as Clone Wars, whatever, but it's still good stuff, man. Like, it's good stuff.
Agree. I believe that Obi-Wan, for his failures, was probably the most wholesome of the masters we saw. He was not full of himself like Yoda. He was not dark side tiptoeing like Mace. He was not, according to Debbie, an asshole like Kialimati.
that was such a wild. That was a wild. Debbie,
I was not expecting that.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, could not have guessed that was going to come out in the same sense as Kialimati, but it's all good, man.
But what about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
I'm gonna play this real quick. We're gonna play this. Obi-Wan, have you guys seen this? Obi-Wan remembers Anakin. It's a flashback.
Before the Dark Times is so good, but that's not this one. But I always like Before the Dark Times.
Yeah. So these are so cool. Here we go.
Let's do this.
You can hear it.
You fought in the Clone Wars?
Yes. I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
I wish I'd known him.
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy. And a cunning warrior. And he was a good friend. Father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic, before the Dark Times, before the Empire.
Yes. That's right, little kid. Shut up.
He didn't kill him. The clones killed him.
Bravo, Sierra.
How did my father?
Sucker.
Except for the one hand.
That has to be tough on Obi-Wan. You know, I just
There's a reason why he couldn't kill him.
I loved you.
I loved you.
Okay, he uses past tense there.
A young Jedi named Darth Vader.
That's not an
Pupil of
accident.
mine until he turned to evil.
That's some bullshit right there.
He helped the Empire hunt down
Mama,
and destroy
word,
the
baby
Jedi
mama.
Knights.
The dark side
And Debbie would
bro.
say, "Good, good, got him."
Debbie loves that scene.
Okay, this is bad, right? I know. Oh, and this too. Phase 10 or whatever her name was. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Gone.
I'm waiting for the Plo Koon. Give me the Plo Koon.
Plo Koon. Master Plo's alive. I have to believe he was alive.
They survived that. Damn.
I don't think he could survive that. I feel like his mask got broken off.
George said he's dead, man. He's dead.
Man. No.
Who? Who?
Master Plo.
No. Who's George?
Yeah,
Dude,
who's this George fella?
I will tell you, this pissed me off right here, where they can't even make it lock even. Look at that crap. It's not even even right there. Look at the mouthpiece area.
What do you mean?
How's it not even? Am I blind?
Even. What? Are you okay?
Oh my god!
I think you've had a little too much to drink.
Stop.
Yeah, you might be.
Can you see my cursor? Yes.
Yes.
Look. Right.
What
here.
is?
How is that
Uh-huh.
not aligned? That's my
down.
point. Dude, as much money as this movie cost,
geometry makes it look cool.
Dude,
well, honestly, I feel like it wasn't that much. Let's see.
Oh, just every time that's all I see. I'm so OCD about that shit. That's all I see is this.
It looks like two different parts.
It is two different.
Well, then there you go.
It's supposed to be flush. Look, listen. Look, I just added.
Hey, Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith was only 113 million, which was less than the first two.
God.
It was the cheap. Yeah, it was the cheapest one.
It was the best.
No, that was a 12-minute fight between those two.
Oh,
12 minutes, and that they didn't speed it up. I don't know if you guys saw those behind the
the
scenes.
extended edition.
Can we get the Frank extended whatever? Not Frank.
Animated. I don't care. I just want to see.
What's the guy's name that does all them DC movies? Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Yeah.
We did a Snyder cut, but a Lucas cut of episode that was already 2-3 hours long. Can we get?
Okay, so the first two were 115 million, and then I'm just gonna put it out there. The Last Jedi was 317 million. Now that it is a good looking film, but
it is an amazing, good looking film. The soundtrack is really well done.
Yeah, if you don't care about the characters and anything that's in it, it's a really good looking.
You don't care about the actual movie.
John Williams said he's never doing another. So there we have.
I don't doubt it.
We're done.
What is the cheapest?
Attack of the Clones.
Probably the first one.
No, probably the first.
Yeah, 11 million for A New Hope. 11 million, bro.
And how much has he made since?
Y'all want to see the craziest thing? Y'all, people out there listening, go look up how much Rings of Power cost, and then the Peter Jackson trilogy. That'll alarm you.
That's awesome.
Even the Hobbit trilogy.
We are at over 2 hours. We did it again,
no.
even though like freaking Deb bailed on us like halfway through.
After dark, man, I'm fired up.
Man, this was a good episode. All of us kept saying, no, that's next episode. So you guys got a lot of preface into next episode. Look, we love Star Wars. We love everything about the stories. When it comes down to maybe some bits, we get a little frustrated just because we're so damn invested in it, right?
I love it.
Lord of the Rings and Twilight, just good story writing, and regardless of what you think about sparkly vampires, it was good story. It was good. You can't deny that. The last couple episodes, as we keep touching on, weren't that great. Not a lot of depth to the characters, and when we can create an entire show, or entire series, 3 shows around the Sith timeline, and you guys can't create one movie, or even a limited 4-episode series, some bullshit, whatever. You can't do that. So to your point earlier, Cam, There is content out there that could be used. To my point, and the Sith Dominion, as I've mentioned way back in this podcast, the name came from a website that I had that I joined and created the Sith Dominion, which was a role-playing Sith dark side forum where we would create our own Sith stories in the Star Wars universe. But we would use the Star Wars universe that was available to us so that we would make it, no, it wasn't canon, it was fan fiction, but it was as close to canon as you could get, using the same characters. We fought against Admiral Akbar. We fought against Wedge Antilles and his crew. God dang, those freaking Rogue Squadron were bitches. Look, if you got a good story, you're going to have fandom continue those stories. And whether they become canon or not is irrelevant. The fact is we're enjoying them. And what happened is you destroyed everything about the Force that we knew about it. You made this one chick so damn powerful and doesn't even know how she's powerful and doesn't know where she came from and doesn't know anything. And that's what hurts us, right? It doesn't make sense to us because we were along for the ride, right? We were along for the ride of how the Force works. And now that we've learned even more about how the Force works in balance, we know that, sorry, Rey, if this is what they've written for you, you're fucked. Because there's going to be a bigger, badder, Sithy, or at least dark side wielder than you've ever seen before. Because you're the most powerful Jedi to ever live. Because every Jedi lives in you. Bullshit. I love you, Daisy. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with your character.
I love you, Daisy.
It's so
every Jedi lives in a Palpatine, brother.
Yeah,
think about that.
Give me a break.
The ultimate win.
Palpatine won, man.
I'll say this.
Palpatine won.
I'll stop. Lucas said straight up, this whole story is about Anakin Skywalker. So technically, when Anakin dies in Return of the Jedi episode
Revenge
6.
of the Jedi, got it.
That's it.
How much wine he had, bro?
Yeah.
Had a bottle. I'm done with my bottle. I won't tell you. I had 2 Starry and 2 full 12-ounce Starry and vodkas earlier today. So
my man's on a mission.
I am. No, honestly, the point is, like, understand if we can really put our arms around how the Force works, we know, as Freddie Prinze Jr. said, you'll know what happens in the next movie. So if they follow the path of the Force, the way it was written, the way it's intended, we know there's going to be some crazy ass badass dark side Force wielder in this new Rey movie.
It'll be cool to see Rey actually go through something, because I mean, clearly they've shown nothing about breaking down characters.
No,
so
the
it
only
might
thing
be
he went through was freaking like trying to get Luke to train her. Like, that's the most
Needs to fail.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think
my training didn't go. I'm sitting here training, and Poe's like, "Fuck out there! What are you doing? What are you training? Get out there and help us!" Like, I get it from Poe's perspective. You're a goddamn Jedi or close to. You telling me you just chilling here, like doing some freaking multiple choice? Go do something.
Look at
so do y'all think that, I said this last episode, and I'm really loving it with Tolkien right now. Just, I mean, him establishing events, dropping them tidbits in the paragraphs, and you're like, oh shit, I want to know about that type deal. I mean, clearly the Rule of 2 is canon based off, the movies and stuff. Like, you go to Wikipedia, there's a canon legends for Rule of 2, whatever. Is the Acolyte going to touch on it?
It has to. There's
So
no
the
way
Acolyte's going to be interesting. You're right. It has. Excuse me.
Bane flashback? That'd be kind of badass, not gonna lie.
So I find it interesting that
Bane will probably be a female.
I mean, that wouldn't be bad.
Piss me off. Are you trying to upset me? Darth Bane is a male. We know this. We know this. So
Xana established rule of
Xana's a
two.
female. If they make Xana a pale, no. Why would you do?
It's actually Darth Xana's rule of two.
We even talked about Xana on this freaking show. We love her. I love that
To a
we
point.
are like a bunch of dudes, like, and we do raise up the women from Star Wars, like on this show. Because what did I say at the beginning? I just watched the Ventress. I'm in love with her again. Ventress is an amazing character. Very well written. And this little touch on. I'd love to see a Ventress Talia spinoff. That would be amazing. Talia was a great piece of that lore too of the Night Sisters. If you don't know, there was bits of her in Rebels, but there's also bits of her in some books as well. Talia. Guys, this was a great show. Debbie, sorry you had to bail. Kat, maybe we get all 5 of us on next show with Elliot. I'm going to reach out to DJ Elliot and make sure we're good for next week. He's just coming off this con there in South Africa, so I'm sure he's going to have some great stories to tell. I hope he doesn't tell any stories about when I was his RA, because that wouldn't be good. I was a great RA. Don't let anyone fool you.
You were the people's RA.
I was the people's RA, and very brave.
He ruled with an iron fist.
I did, and a deep stomach for all the beer you shouldn't be drinking. So I won't write you up if you give me your 12-pack. At the end of the day, this show is about the Sithy side of life, and I really feel like we've touched a lot on not just that kind of mid-range Sith. We've moved into future Sith and stuff of what we know now, but we also understand that, look, Taoism, Buddhism, Christianity, it doesn't matter what religion you follow, you're gonna understand no religion at all. There's duality in man, right? Like, we have thoughts that aren't good, and we have thoughts that aren't bad. We have thoughts that are good, and we have thoughts that are bad. In the end of the day, it's what you act on, it's what you do with your life. And when you look at the scope and scale of what the Sith were able to do with a very small number after the rule of 2 of people, then we move into what I talk about in leadership, which is influence, not manipulation. Darth Sidious, for everything that he was or was not, he was an amazing influencer. He built relationships. He was as authentic as he could be with people, and was able to build an empire because of it. And we'll talk more about that next episode, as we're talking through more of the Sith timeline. And then ultimately, what do we expect from the Sith in this latest movie or set of movies? We're not quite sure what's going to happen with that. But we thank you guys for joining us on the ride. We watched a trailer for the new Empire, Tales of the Empire. Watched some Sam Witwer talk about, how amazing he is about inserting Sith code, trying to make it canon into the shows. So thanks you all for joining. Thank you all on TikTok for joining. That was super fun. We will see you next week, guys. Any last thing? I know, Zane, you just got finished recording a couple of tracks, or did you record the whole LP last week?
We only laid down a few instruments. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
However, we do this Saturday play at El Honky Tonk in San
El
Antonio.
Honky Tonk. Where's that?
In San Antonio. So y'all come down.
It's not the Honky Tonk, folks. It's El Honky Tonk in San Antonio. Do you know where? 30 rack, or is it back 40?
30 rack.
30 rack. So go check out Thomas Babiak and 30 rack, or if you go to Instagram, I think it's just 30 rack.
Yeah.
And you'll see those cats, and go check them out. I've seen them; they're great. Remember what I asked you about? It'd be cool to do that. So no pressure.
We'll see.
And what do you got coming up this week? Anything cool?
No, I'm going to see Phantom Menace on Friday. It's going to be one of the first. It'll be the first of the original 6 I've ever seen in theaters, so I'm really looking forward to that.
First Star Wars movie you've seen.
All right. I'll share this story before we sign off here.
Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah. Yeah. So Zane got to stay at home with his grandmama, my mother, when I went to go see this with my wife at the time, his mother, my ex-wife. We went to see Revenge of the Sith. Now listen, since 1977, I've been waiting. I have been waiting since 1977. I was only 2 years old, so I didn't know, but fast forward a few years. As soon as I found out Obi-Wan Kenobi, the old crusty white dude from the movies I grew up with, fought Darth Vader, but fought him as Anakin Skywalker?
Yeah.
What? This was a thing? I grew up, folks, learning this, knowing this. So when episode 3 hit, I was like, oh, snap. This is it. This is the culmination of my entire life in this battle, in this, what I later understand to be a 12-minute segment all put together that they worked 6 months on to do. Like, that's the choreography. And as a community theater, which isn't anything, as a music community theater where I've got choreography and all this stuff, like I kind of get it. Like, what I do in 6 weeks is nothing what those guys did in 6 months.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there. We're at the point where Obi-Wan's looking at him, with his arms crossed. He's like, "You're a far greater Jedi than I have ever been. You're a great friend." And Anakin's like, "You're a great friend, Master." And they're like, "Goodbye." And it's the last time they see each other. I'm like, "Oh shit. This is good." Like, I know in the next 15 minutes, some bad shit's about to break.
Literally.
Hold on a second. What's the... Is that my stomach? No.
No way.
Hold on a second. Should I trust this? Okay, I trusted that one, but I probably shouldn't trust anymore. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm telling this story right now. Yes, in the middle of that fight, I was having my own fight with my...
You had the bubble guts during the Vader and Obi-Wan fight.
I have waited over 30 years for this moment on the big and I'm dying inside.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Wait. Hold on. Oh, it gets better. I wait, and I've decided if it comes down to it, Cameron, understand.
You gotta go in your pants.
I'm in
man.
my 30s, dude. Like, I'll shit myself before I leave my seat. I don't care. I don't care. I will let you know I did not shit myself. So I get in the car. We watch the movie, and I'm uncomfortable. So I miss some things mentally because it's like it's so painful.
Yeah,
we can't. It's bad. So we get. We're driving home and we have to go north and there's a wreck. And if you've ever driven north on I-35 in Austin, Texas, when there's a wreck on North I-35, you're not going anywhere. Oh my God. So now for the next 45 minutes, which otherwise would have taken 8, I am in my car crawling out, trying to drive a stick shift.
Oh,
trying not to crawl out of the window. Like, I am dying. So my experience with episode 3, I don't remember in the movies other than I was about to die and shit myself. It wasn't until it came out on Blu-ray that I was finally able to enjoy the movie and enjoy everything, because I certainly didn't want to poop myself right there in front of my baby mama. So yeah, it was not pleasant. I can't believe I shared this online, but nobody's listening. It's 19. Oh wait, shit, there is one person with it's probably Charla. She'll listen from time to time.
I love reading the comments when I go watch that fight. Reading people's comments about when Obi-Wan, cuts his legs off and his arm, and he starts burning, and like people said, they could hear like a pin drop, and just that's probably one of my favorite parts about watching old clips of stuff that I wasn't able to see. Like I just bought Woods and I tickets to see Lord of the Rings extended 4K in June. I bought all 3 films. Return of the King is 4.5 hours.
Oh my god!
Yes, it is.
And on Monday at 7 p.m., June 10th, I will be there. I have already informed my boss I might not be at 100% on Tuesday, but I have to see that in theaters because I never saw those in theaters too. Because I was born in '98, so I was like, just.
Oh my god, you're
tight, yeah. So
my daughter was born in '99. This is not okay.
I mean, I'm really looking forward to.
Man,
I know people don't like Phantom Menace, but I'm looking forward to watching. I'm looking forward to having that experience.
Mall fight? Oh
yeah, I'm
the
so
mall
psyched.
Fight, the pod racing, even all aspects of Qui-Gon. Not just because Liam Neeson is such a great actor. Like that character deserves its own series. Like, and I appreciate they touched on that with Dooku and Qui-Gon in what was that? Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah. And they had a whole book about it as well.
They did. What was that book? Master and Apprentice.
Dude, and Liam Neeson's son voiced young Qui-Gon. That's
so badass. I didn't know that. That's amazing.
That's so badass.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
Folks, we're at 22 after 10. That's 2 hours and 22. Officially the longest show. We've got to wrap it up. We have talked in the We've talked in the past, in the last week or so, about doing something after the show. That's gonna come later. It's too late right now. This right now.
We've already done it.
So yeah, next week we'll be talking about forward Sidious, etc. Moving forward, Plagueis, Sidious, and Snoke. We're going to talk about that Sith timeline. We're going to talk about other bits in the Legacy piece too, because there's some really cool stuff in the Legacy, like Darth. We had a whole show on him, Darth
Crate.
Great, yes, thank you. We had a whole show on Darth Crate. Who, after or within the Luke Skywalker bit, became very powerful. So we'll talk about all that next week. We kind of touched on some of it. We weren't supposed to, but that's okay. This show is running loosey-goosey the last few weeks, and that's okay.
Hey, man, we stayed on the outline. I feel like we got off a little bit, but
we went off.
I appreciate you guys bringing us back because, I always tell people
locked in, man.
When I have guests outside of our regulars like Stephanie or Elliot, and I say, hey, here's the outline, right? But just realize we may not talk about 3 things out of an entire outline, but it's there to keep us aligned, and if we do hit a snag, we can come back. So in our outline, for those of you that care, we did Darth Bane, talk about key text, holocrons, or philosophy, which we did. Talked about the philosophy. We talked about holocrons, and we talked about all the stuff in this. So you guys are getting your money's worth, all $0 of it. So,
fall asleep to us. It's just fine.
Yeah, just fall asleep to us. Hey, so that's next week. We also have other shows. We talk about every show as well. We have Cantina Happy Hour, which Debbie is on. We have the Marvel Mondays, MCU Mondays. Thursday.
Thursday is Cantina Happy Hour.
Cantina Happy Hour.
And then Geek Gauntlet is on Saturday, usually.
How does Zay know all this? Oh, you're on YouTube right now.
No.
Aren't you? No? See, See, Cat's a lot better at that. I miss having Cat on.
Captain's Logs and Lightsabers.
Captain's Logs and
Usually a
Lightsabers,
thing.
which I mentioned also in this show because I would love to be on that show. John, I can't remember your last name, brother. My bad. Anyways, it was a great show. Cam, Zane, as always. Yep, he's yawning. Yes. We're gonna wrap it up. We will see you all next week. And yeah, remember. Oh, before I sign off, go to TikTok. We'll come here and subscribe, like, do all the things. Put the notification bell so that you know when we're live.
Ding.
Go to TikTok. Brother. Find us, The Sith Dominion. It's real simple. Find us on TikTok. I put out a or two a week. Just some content where I'm talking about shit, stuff. There is also a new series I just put out talking about taking your car to the mechanic, taking yourself to a mechanic and listening to yourself and understanding what's happening inside yourself. So that too, episode 2 of that just released, and there'll be 2 more over the course of this week to wrap that up. So 4 pieces of that. It'd be worth it. Trust me. Geez, I don't think anything else. Guys, seriously, anyone that listens to this, watches this, DM me, find me, DM me. I'd love to do a complimentary 30-minute coaching session with you, just to get you set on the right path to move forward. Doesn't cost you a thing.
Or DM us with any questions about Star Wars.
What? Any questions? And I'd
with
love
any
to talk about Star Wars. Absolutely. Gosh, I think that's it. Anything else, Cam? Anything else, Zane?
Go see Phantom Menace this weekend. That's all I gotta tell you.
What he said.
Yes. May the 4th be with you, but more so Revenge of the 5th.
Amen.
That's
Amen.
Right. All right. Remember, kids, peace is a lie, and that there's only passion. Good night.